Top 10 dogs that turned on their owners. Dogs. The loyal companions we call man's best friend. They guard our homes, walk beside us in the darkest nights, and curl up next to us when we're at our weakest. For thousands of years, the bond between humans and dogs has been celebrated as one of the purest forms of friendship. But what happens when that bond is shattered? What happens when a dog, the very creature you trust with your safety, your children, even your life, turns against you in the most horrifying way? Today, we're counting down 10 chilling cases of dogs that attacked and killed their owners. These are not urban legends. They are real stories, tragic reminders that sometimes the animals we love most can unleash a side we never imagined possible. So grab a seat, hold your breath, and prepare for stories that will shake your trust in man's best friend. 10. The loyal Rottweiler. That snapped. In 2019, a quiet neighborhood in Essex, England woke up to a scene that would haunt them forever. A 52-year-old man named Wayne Stevens was known by everyone as a kind, hard-working father. He was also known for his massive Rottweiler, Buster. Buster was more than a pet. He was a family member. Loyal, protective, fiercely attached to his owner. But one morning, something went terribly wrong. Neighbors reported hearing a man's desperate screams. When police arrived, they found Wayne lying motionless on the ground inside his home, with Buster standing over him, blood dripping from his jaws. The loyal dog that once guarded the family had turned into a predator. Investigations later suggested that Buster may have become territorial, reacting aggressively in a moment of confusion. Some experts pointed to stress or even hidden health issues in the dog. But for Wayne's family, the reasons didn't matter. All they knew was that the dog they loved had taken away the man they cherished. The tragedy shook the entire neighborhood. People who once greeted Buster with a smile now crossed the street in fear. It was a heartbreaking reminder, even the most trusted companion can change in an instant. 9. The pit bull that attacked. During a nap in Houston, Texas, a 60-year-old grandmother named Dorothy Williams lived a quiet life. She was known for her warmth, her laughter, and her unconditional love for her grandchildren. At home, she owned 2 pit bulls, dogs she had raised from puppies. To Dorothy, they were harmless family pets. But on a summer afternoon in 2021, tragedy struck. Dorothy had just returned from running errands. She sat down in her living room, exhausted, and dozed off in her favorite chair. Minutes later, her granddaughter entered the room, and what she saw would traumatize her forever. One of the pit bulls had lunged at Dorothy while she slept. By the time help arrived, it was too late. The loyal pet she trusted with her home and family had ended her life in the most brutal way imaginable. When the news broke, debates exploded across Texas. Was this proof that pit bulls were inherently dangerous? Or was it a tragic case of misreading a dog's signals? For Dorothy's family, it didn't matter. All they knew was that their loving grandmother was gone, taken not by a stranger, not by an intruder, but by the every dog she had fed, cared for, and trusted for years. The story left a scar not just on the family, but on the community that had once believed it could never happen here. The police dog that turned deadly. In Florida, 2015, Officer Gregory Lowry was a decorated policeman who had spent years serving his community. His partner on duty was not another officer, but a highly trained German shepherd named Shadow. Police dogs are symbols of loyalty, discipline, and trust. They are trained to protect and to obey. But sometimes even the most disciplined animals can cross a line. One evening, while off duty, Gregory was relaxing in his backyard with Shadow. Neighbors later reported hearing loud barking, then chilling screams. When emergency services arrived, they found Gregory lying on the grass, brutally attacked by his own K9 partner. What made this tragedy even harder to understand was Shadow's history. He had never shown signs of aggression toward his handler. Experts suggested that something triggered Shadow's prey drive, overwhelming years of training in a single moment. Gregory's death sent shockwaves through law enforcement circles. If a police dog, trained to the highest standard, could turn on its handler, then what hope did ordinary pet owners have? It was a dark reminder that beneath obedience and loyalty, a dog's primal instincts still lurk. 7. The family protector that attacked a child's father in Chicago, 2012, the Ramirez family lived in a small but loving home. Their pride was their massive Mastiff mix named Titan. For years, Titan was known as the gentle giant, guarding the children, sleeping near the baby's crib, and watching the house when everyone was away. But one tragic night changed everything. When 40-year-old Marco Ramirez returned home late from work, something seemed to unsettle Titan. Instead of greeting his owner with the usual wagging tail, Titan growled low and menacingly. Before Marco could react, Titan lunged, biting with a ferocity no one had ever seen before. The family's screams filled the night. Neighbors rushed to help, but by the time police arrived, it was too late. Titan had fatally mauled the man he had once been trained to protect. For Marco's wife and children, the heartbreak was unbearable. The very dog that had guarded their children now left them fatherless. The case sparked deep conversations in Chicago about large guardian breeds, and how even the most trusted protector can snap without warning. 6. The loving husky that turned on its owner. Huskies are adored worldwide for their striking blue eyes, playful nature, and wolf-like beauty. But in Alaska, 2020, a case involving a husky shocked the community and left a family shattered. 29-year-old Emily Rogers was an adventurous young woman who adored her husky, Luna. To Emily, Luna was not just a pet. She was her hiking partner, her companion during cold nights, and her closest friend. Emily filled her Instagram with photos of Luna, often captioning them with, "My best friend." But one winter evening, things took a horrifying turn. Emily was found dead inside her home, and Luna was covered in blood. Investigators pieced together that Luna had attacked Emily during a quiet night at home. The motive? No one could explain it. There were no intruders, no threats. Just a sudden, shocking betrayal. Friends and family struggled to understand. Emily had raised Luna from a pup. She had trusted her with everything. Yet in a single night, that trust was destroyed. Her story became a haunting reminder that even the friendliest breeds, even the ones we see as playful, harmless companions, still carry instincts that can surface without warning. At this point, we've already seen stories that prove no dog breed is immune from tragedy, from loyal Rottweilers to highly trained police canines. And as we move into the top 5, the stories only get darker, more shocking, and even harder to believe. But before we continue, if you're finding these stories eye-opening, hit the like button to support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our future countdowns of shocking and mysterious cases. Your support helps us keep uncovering stories that the world tries to forget. 5. The beloved pit bull that ended a mother's life in North Carolina 2017, a mother of 2 named Lisa Green, lived what many would call a normal, happy life. She worked hard, cared deeply for her kids, and had a soft spot for dogs. Her pride and joy was her pit bull, Zeus. Lisa often defended Zeus against the negative stereotypes about pit bulls. She would post online about how gentle he was, how much he loved playing with the children, and how misunderstood the breed was. To her, Zeus wasn't dangerous. He was family. But one evening, tragedy struck. Lisa was outside in the yard with Zeus when neighbors heard screams. By the time help arrived, Zeus had fatally attacked her. The horrifying detail? The children had witnessed everything. For the community, this was more than a tragedy. It was a direct blow to the ongoing debate. Are pit bulls safe family dogs or ticking time bombs? For Lisa's children, though, the debates didn't matter. They had lost their mother, not to a stranger, not to crime, but to the very dog she had defended until her last breath. This story became one of the most talked about cases in the region, sparking emotional arguments between dog lovers and those calling for breed bans. But at the heart of it all was a family left broken forever. Before, the tragedy of the guard dog that killed its master in Johannesburg, South Africa, 2016, security was always a concern. Families relied on guard dogs not just for companionship, but for survival. One such dog, a Boer bull named Max, was owned by 45-year-old Richard Daniels. Max was more than a pet. He was Richard's bodyguard, his night watch, his reassurance in a city where crime was never far away. Friends said Richard trusted Max more than most people. But on a late night, that trust turned fatal. Neighbors awoke to shouts and barking. When police arrived, they found Richard in his backyard, fatally mauled by Max. The guard dog he had relied on for protection had turned on him in the dead of night. The community was horrified. For many South Africans, guard dogs are seen as necessary. But Richard's death raised painful questions. What happens when the protector becomes the predator? Max was eventually put down, but the emotional scar remained. Richard's friends remembered how proud he was of his dog, how he would say, "Max will never let me down." In the end, those words turned haunting. 3. The tragic case of the young woman and her pack of dogs. One of the most infamous cases happened in Virginia, 2017, when Bethany Stevens, a 22-year-old woman, was found dead in the woods near her home. The culprits? Her own 2 pit bulls, Tonka and Pac-Man. Bethany had raised these dogs from puppies. She loved them fiercely, often posting photos of them on social media. Her friends recalled how she would say her dogs gave her purpose and comfort. But that winter evening, when she took them out for a walk, things took a horrifying turn. When Bethany's father went searching for her hours later, he stumbled upon a nightmare. His daughter's body was found in a remote area, and both dogs were still present, aggressive, agitated, and covered in blood. The case shocked the nation. Some experts said the dogs may have turned on her due to pack mentality, triggered by stress or even hunger. Others argued the circumstances were too strange to explain. The tragedy of Bethany Stevens became a viral headline, stirring debates across the U.S. Was it a freak accident? Or another sign that certain breeds cannot be trusted? For her family, however, it was simple. They had lost a daughter. And to lose her at the hands, or rather the teeth, of the dogs she trusted most made the pain almost unbearable. To the horror of the pack that killed their elderly owner. In Lancashire, England, 2013, the community of Chorley was stunned by one of the most brutal cases of dogs turning on their owner. 79-year-old Clifford Clark was enjoying a quiet evening at home. It was summer, and neighbors remembered him as a gentle, friendly man who lived a simple life. Clifford also shared his home with 3 Staffordshire Bull Terriers, dogs he adored like children. But that evening, as the sun went down, the unthinkable happened. Neighbors reported hearing violent barking followed by screams. By the time emergency responders arrived, Clifford had been mauled to death in his own garden by the very dogs he had fed and cared for every single day. The case left the entire town in shock. People struggled to understand how 3 pets could transform into killers. Some animal behaviorists suggested that the hot weather and lack of food may have triggered aggression in the dogs. Others believed it was simply an unpredictable eruption of pack behavior. What made this story so chilling wasn't just the violence, but the betrayal. Clifford had spent years giving his loyalty to his dogs. In return, they gave him a death no one deserved. His story serves as one of the most haunting reminders in British history that sometimes love and trust are not enough to tame instinct. 1. The chilling death of a dog breeder at the hands of her own dogs. At the very top of our list is a story that made international headlines in France, 2019. 38-year-old Elisa Pilarski was 6 months pregnant when she went out for a walk in the forest near her home. Elisa was no stranger to dogs. In fact, she was a passionate breeder and had raised multiple dogs throughout her life. To her, dogs weren't just companions, they were her calling. That afternoon, Elisa took several of her dogs for a walk. But as hours passed, her partner grew worried when she didn't return. He began searching and soon discovered a horrifying scene. Elisa's body was found in the woods, her clothes torn, her body mauled, and her own dogs surrounding her. The investigation revealed something almost too chilling to believe. The very animals she had devoted her life to had turned on her in her most vulnerable moment, while she was carrying her unborn child. The case shocked not only France, but the world. Media outlets ran headlines about the pregnant woman killed by her own dogs. Debates exploded over the risks of owning large or multiple dogs, and whether instinct can ever truly be suppressed. For Elisa's partner, family, and community, it was a devastating loss. A woman full of love, preparing to welcome new life into the world, had her own life ended by the very creatures she trusted most. This remains one of the most heartbreaking and unforgettable cases in modern history, and a chilling reminder of how quickly loyalty can turn into tragedy. Closing reflection. Emotional outro. Dogs are and always will be one of humanity's closest companions. They guard our homes, share our happiness, and stand beside us when no one else does. But as these stories have shown, trust can sometimes be shattered in the most unimaginable ways. From the loyal Rottweiler in Essex to the pregnant woman in France, these tragedies remind us of a painful truth. Behind every wagging tail is still an animal with instincts we can't always predict or control. So the question remains, how well do we truly know our pets? Let us know in the comments. Do you believe certain breeds are more dangerous? Or do you think any dog can turn given the wrong circumstances? And if this video moved you, shocked you, or made you think twice, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because we have many more dark, mysterious, and unforgettable stories to tell. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, sometimes even the most loyal companion can have a deadly secret.